What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. Now, today we're going to be talking about Record Buster, and Record Buster this month is really important because you got to try for that magical 100 million number, and I think I've got a good unit to do this, but I haven't tested her out, and so this is going to be her big test this time around. Which unit am I talking about? Well, of course, I'm talking about Yukina, who I have in slot 3. Yukina you're going to get for free just for completing the event. You can get a bond of her in the heroic trial. There's so many ways you can get her free to play right now. I feel like if you miss out on her summons, you're just flat out missing out. So normally I'd wait to do this on stream, but I went ahead and maxed them a broken mind off camera so that we could do this video today. Now, I also have with her the 3rd anniversary Shakti and Hestia, Heart Eyes. Oh my god, Eyes would murder me if she knew I said that. So I've got Eyes, Yukina, and Shakti as my main attack units. Obviously, we're going to bring in Finn. Now, he's a great fit on this team, but I really am going to use him as a sack. Not the best use of him, if I'm honest, but it's what we're going to do in this situation because Shakti removes strength buffs when we really need that strength buff removal. Of course, we've got Line on the front for the 33% of stage charge out of the gate, and Haruhime on the back so that we could do like her debuffs and things and her skill replication and things like that we're desperately going to need by turn 3. But let's go ahead and jump in here. Now, assist-wise, before I do that, obviously I've got the wind assist, the Ducky Hestia, that's actually on Yukina because she's got a very good strength stat, and I've got the other light assist. Let's go ahead and pull them up here real quick. So Ducky Hestia does water and wind minus 15% with a strength 15% to all allies. This can be really important because we're all strength. You need physical units on this, and I'll show you why here in a moment, but that is exactly what this is geared towards. Wind, physical, just straight up. Seer, on the other hand, is going to be light and wind plus 15%. So you got your up and your downside of the Schwartz. Pretty straightforward stuff. Then, of course, we're buffing and debuffing strength as well. We got Fiesta here to make sure that we take a little bit less damage. We might take too little damage, but we'll see what happens there. And I'll explain a little bit when we get in there. And then, of course, Osfi for her single target debuffing. Now, we've also got the other thing that Fiesta does that she buffs the counter rate, and then, of course, our dex rate is actually buffed with the single target Osfi. So, let's jump in here. Let's go ahead and start this match. Now, so you're going to notice a little edit here. We are actually back into the fight, and the reason being is because, as I predicted, Fiesta is just way too strong. Her power makes sure that we don't take any damage whatsoever in this fight. And that's actually a bad thing. Believe it or not, that is actually a very bad thing. Yukina with her 45%, basically her 45% debuff, along with Shakti's 40% buff, literally means that with the extra 20%, we literally take no damage. In fact, some of the SAs, we take no damage. So that's bad. We need to take some damage, and we need to get some counters out there. So this actually might be a situation where maybe Shakti's just too powerful? Maybe? I don't know. We'll have to figure this one out. But it really nerfed my power. Now, to be fair, I did pull off a 300 mil attack, 300 mil fight, but there were some mistakes and some things I really want to cover in this. So let's go ahead and go back through this and one more time. Now, I will also cover Revis here. She naturally is neutral to physical attacks, but don't let that fool you. You don't want to use magic because after she SAs, she's going to debuff her own physical attack down 100%. So that minus 120 is actually going to become minus like 150 when all of my debuffs, and her debuffs in fact, are in place. So that's when you really want to start hammering down on the damage. Wind is down 85%, is down 70%. Naturally, that is going to go all the way down to minus 125% after all my debuffs and everything are in place. So, wind physical really is your best friend here. Now, let's go ahead and come out of the gate with our full buff and debuff stack, okay? So we're going to use Spotlight for the 33% SAH charge. We're We're going to go ahead and do this here. This is a strength, dex, and wind attack damage, and counter rate, up 40% for eyes. That's going to be really important. We're going to go ahead and do our general buff stack, really with everybody. So, turn 2 with Line, or I'm sorry, skill 2 with Line, skill 1 with everybody else. Okay? Now, we talked about this before. Finn is coming in as a sack. Not the best thing to do with him, but it is effective. Why do I say it's effective? Well, simply put, because he's going to do a 40% debuff on wind, and basically after she removes the debuffs, we're going to reimplant a 50% debuff, so he kind of is fitting a goal here. Now, you will notice that nobody else really is doing a wind debuff. We got physical debuffs, we've got all that, but because we're going to do skill 3 here with eyes, skill 2 with everybody else. Actually, take that back. We're not even doing skill 2 here because this will reduce strength 40%. It's kind of redundant. So, it also does a heal, but we don't need that yet. So I'm going to go straight into skill 3 with Shakti. Okay. Skill 2 here. This is a physical resistance debuff, but it's not a wind debuff. So we really don't have a wind debuff with the exception of Finn and Eyes' SAs. So we're just going to kind of make do with this. We're going to go skill 1, skill 3, skill 2, skill 3. Pretty straightforward stuff. Okay. Now Finn's going to leave after this turn. He's really only here for the debuff. I know he's a good unit. He would work well in this team, but realistically, we don't necessarily need him. Now, skill 3 turn 3 continues our rotations of not taking any damage. On turn 4, we want to start seeing small numbers. Why do I say we want to start seeing small numbers? Well, simply put, if we continue to take zeros... Remember, Revis does nothing for the first 3 turns, so it doesn't matter what we do, we're not countering. But on turn 4, I want to start countering. Anytime you see a 0, that is literally lost damage potential. Counters are so incredibly important to the longevity of your match. So I'm going to go ahead and do Sheikah on this turn. That's actually going to up our counter and penetration rate. Counter rate's already fairly up, but that's going to do a little bit more, and that's going to be really, really important. Okay? Actually, you know what? I'm going to do Yosuga, because you're already buff counter rate enough. I'm going to do Yosuga on this turn. I'm going to change this up a little bit, and I'm going to try something ever so slightly different, and I'll kind of explain why here in a moment. The way I did this before is I did a double essay on turn 7, but I really feel like doing Harahime's essay on turn 4 might, because the debuffs produce a little more. So I'm going to do this here as a little test. Now, once again, Durandal Edge is here in play. We need to make sure we're not running out of any buffs, though. Okay, Berserker Rush has 3 turns left. That one has 2 turns left. And Shakti's also has 2 turns left, but we're going to rebuff Shakti's on turn 5 instead of turn 4. So it's going to run out, but that's fine. I'm not worried about that. We're going to be good to go on this one. So let's continue. And I want to emphasize where normally I do Sheikah on this turn to get a little bit of extra damage out. Obviously, I think doing her essay here is going to be more potent, for lack of a better way to put it, only because then everybody gets 100% strength buff now instead of waiting till turn 7. It's 3 more turns of a little bit of extra damage. Now, Durandal Edge we're going to continue with, and I believe we determined here we have to rebuff this, so let's go ahead and rebuff that. It is 1 turn, it's running out, but we're going to continue doing Ballista with Shakti, only because Shakti's Ballista attack is the... Actually, you know what? Let's Brave it. Let's Brave it. Let's not remove the strength buff. Let's Brave it on this turn, only because I don't think she's going to be able to do enough damage to us. So we'll rebuff that, and that's going to give us a little extra damage because she is going to get that 100% strength buff. So let's see what happens here. All right. All right. So we are taking damage. That's good news. Excellent. And now her SA. Perfect. Excellent. Now moving on to turn 5. So turn 5 is a little different animal as well. I could do Sheikah on this turn. I probably should do it soon, but I need to make sure buffs continue to be replicated. Durandal Edge, are we running out of that? We do have 1 turn left on Berserker Rush, so we're going to want to rebuff Berserker Rush on this turn. One thing to bear in mind here, she is debuffed 120%. That's because she came out of the gate here with a strength physical down debuff, and her strength buff is going to stay in play. I don't want to remove her strength buff here, only because this is about the only way she's going to be able to produce damage on this turn at least. Later on in the match, it might become a threat, but we want to leave that strength buff in play as much as we can. So let's go ahead and leave that there. Well, actually, I take that back because we are going to remove it. Well, she's got Raksha Chakram, and it's only 1 turn, so we can go ahead and do Ballista here. I hate to do that, but it's what we're going to have to do. We're also going to do skill 3. These are our big attacks. Notice that we actually did rebuff their extra damage. So Raksha and... I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Whatever. Those 2 are good to go for now. And like I said, we're gonna rebuff Berserker Rusher to get the extra attacks out. Her strength buff is effectively gone, but she's still doing damage. That's good. That's good. Removing Fiesta Hestia actually is really good, because I'm going to be honest, with Fiesta Hestia on the team and everything that we have, we were at basically all the way up through turn 12, taking 0 damage even on SAs, which means we weren't getting hit enough to produce any counters, and that's bad. That's very bad. Okay, turn 6. Turn 6, I'm going to do Sheikah here. That is going to represent a big... but this is the turn basically where all the debuffs are removed. So we're going to do Sheikah on this turn. That is going to go ahead and make sure that we are rebuffed in that regard. We don't necessarily need to, but it's just about the right turn to do it, because from this turn on, we're going to want to make sure we're replicating again for quite a bit of time. So we're going to do that. Everybody's basically going to do... let's see, I rebuffed them there, but I could wait 1 more turn. So yeah, I'm going to do 1 more turn where I'm just doing damage. Her physical resistance debuff is getting removed on this turn, so it's not like we're going to be producing insane stuff, but it is going to help out a little bit. Now, Berserker Rush is 3 turns, so I'm going to go ahead and go back and do the big attacks here. Well, actually, let's see. So she doesn't have any debuffs. Yeah, she doesn't have any debuffs. I'm amending my skill flow here. So Eyes doesn't really have any debuffs except for SA, so we're just going to do her big attack. We will need to redo this physical resistance debuff. Yeah. So that's going to let us produce more damage, so we will need to do that. I don't believe Shakti has a debuff. She does here, but we don't use it. So, let's see. It doesn't really matter, so yeah, we'll continue doing her big attack. So let's do that. That's turn 6. Boom. Re-implementing debuffs as much as possible. Alright. And turn 7, since she does her debuff removal basically at the beginning of the turn, turn 7 is where we can use Eyes as SA to re-implement everything here. So you'll notice, let's do Yosuke on that turn. You will notice that wind resistance and single target damage are debuffed. Wind resistance is down 50%, single target is down 25%. This just basically allows us to do more damage. We're going to re-implement this as well on turn 11, but for now, just know that on this turn, this is key. We did do Haruhime's SA as a double here. It produced a little extra damage with this, but I'm going to be honest, I think at this stage of the game, the 100% strength buff that everybody got is going to be more important. So notice it is all still in place there. So let's go ahead and use Yosuke to replicate that. Let's do the debuff, and let's see what kind of damage we produce here. Now, I'm not expecting the same numbers, so let's see. Was that not even 1 million, or was that... I'm not sure if that was much more or much less than I was expecting. I'm going to guess much less than I was expecting. Not gonna lie. Now, the best place and time to do big damage numbers is after these turns when she is kind of in that physical down scenario. But most of our numbers we're actually going to be producing really are kind of for the debuff. So we'll see. We'll see. We're going to make another exception here in a moment to see what kind of damage we produce. I'm going to go back and do Yosuga again. We're going to go do, let's see, we probably need to rebuff Berserker. Nope, Berserker's rebuffed on the next turn. Let's see, she ran out of hers, so I let that run out, so I'm going to have to rebuff that, which means Ballista is out as well. I let those two expire, and that is unfortunate. Once again, I'm not going to do the strength debuff on this turn. I should have done it on the last turn, but I don't think it's going to cost us anything here. Because we do want to take a little bit of damage, and with the physical debuff, or yeah, the physical resistance buff and all that, I don't think she's going to be able to produce the kind of damage that can kill us. Now, obviously turn 12, that's a mistake I don't want to make again. But yeah, see, no big deal. No big deal whatsoever. Now, she is debuffed here. No. She is. Where is it? Oh, okay. It's up there at the top. Physical resistance down 100%. So that means I really need to do her essay, because that's going to buff her big time. So I think I'm going to do it on this turn. That's a little different than what I've done before, but I think this turn is the right turn to do this. So we're going to essay with Yukina here, which is very different than what we've done before. But because we are debuffed, I think this is a good time to just do some general damage. Alright, so we're going to do the essay here with Yukina, and I think that's literally just to do a little bit of extra damage. It's different than we did with our skill flow. Let's see, Raksha is still debuffed, so we can do that. Berserker Rush is down to 1 turn, so we do need to rebuff that. And we'll continue with Yosuga. So let's see what happens here. Now, once again, I know we get better numbers out of doing multi-attack, but I'm kind of trying a little different tactic here, striking while the iron is hot. Now, I know the number we got out of the last run, so it'll be interesting to see the difference on this run. Generally speaking, and I will emphasize generally speaking, you get better numbers out of doing multi-attack. 1.4, that's actually respectable. Would hope for a little more, but that's, you know, beggars can't be choosy. If I was doing a big, like, you know, triple or quad there, it'd be a little bit different, but trying something a little bit different here. Like I said, normally I'd wait till turn 10 and I'd do a double with eyes, but let's see the number we get. This is all, as I said, I'm not setting a final score here. This is literally still the trial and error phase. But since I'm going to be out of town for the weekend, a lot of my final score stuff we'll do on stream on Sunday night. So we still have a little bit of SA there, or a little bit of MP there. So let's go ahead and continue with Yosuga. Let's see, Durandal Edge. Let's see, Berserker Rush. We still have 3 turns, so we're going to do that. She will need to rebuff that. No, she will not, because we got 3 turns left. So we can go ahead and do her big attack there. And we have 2 turns left on Raksha, so we can go ahead and do her big attack as well. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Ooh, you know what I didn't do? Yukina needs to do her physical resistance debuff there. That's the big difference. Notice she removed her debuffs, so we need to do that. Now, if you're wondering why Strength of Magic is suddenly debuffed on Revis again, and part of the reason I'm so weird about how we're taking damage, the simple answer is, well, because Yukina does a 45% Strength of Magic debuff on counters. So if she gets counters out, that negates the necessity to use Haruhime's skill. So that is one huge asset to this team. I'm a huge asset to this team. I'm going to do Sheikah on this turn, just because we should be good with everything else. And like I said, I needed to do the 35% debuff with the skill 2 last turn, and I didn't. So that is going to cost me a little bit of damage. Not a huge number here. And I don't want to use this debuff, so yeah, we're literally just going to continue on like this. Most everything we have is on the buff side, so yeah. Remember, this debuff does 50% wind and 25% single target debuff. We'll get 35% physical resistance debuff, and yeah, let's go. Let's see what happens here. Now, to be fair, as I've said before, the 35% would have been better done on turn 10, but the damage differential is going to be, I won't say negligible, but it's not going to be the greatest thing in history. All right. Let's see what happens. Cool. All right, now this strength buff we've got to remove. This strength buff could actually prove deadly for us. I don't think it's going to kill us, but it's definitely not going to feel great. So I do want to make sure we're doing Ballista on this turn to get rid of that buff. Now, let's see. Rockshaw's gone. Did we need to do Rockshaw last turn? Apparently we did. So, a little mistake there. I thought we had plenty of time left on Rockshaw, but I guess I didn't check it. So we will want to do Rockshaw on the next turn to get a little bit of damage out. Once again, like I said, just setting some scores here, setting up my skill flows. So I've got to rebuff that. Berserker Rush is got 2 turns left, so I'll rebuff. I'll rebuff Berserker Rush and Rockshaw on the next turn. She's going to rebuff hers on that turn, and we'll continue with Yosuga to make sure everything's good to go here. But name of the game is prepare for the next couple of turns, because she's going to do a big physical resistance debuff, and that is going to allow us to do tons and tons and tons and tons of damage. So, realistically, I actually probably should have re-debuffed those on turn 12, because physical resistance is down, and I think physical resistance has been down since last turn. So, we'll do Berserker Rush, we'll do Rockshaw, and hers is good for the end of the match, so we'll just continue doing her big attack. I'm going to do Sheikah on this turn, which is abnormal. Normally wouldn't want to do that, but well, yeah, we got plenty. We got plenty. We really only need it for the next 2 turns. Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. All right, we've got another SA. I would love to get a double here, but I don't think it's in the cards, unfortunately. I might be able to pull it off. I'll have to see what happens on these next couple of turns. But I think I know a way that I can modify my, basically modify everything here to make that happen. Now, we got 2 turns, so we got everything buffed out extensively. So I don't think we're going to run out of anybody's attack. So yeah, so we don't need Yosuga. We can just do Akane. It's not really going to do any damage, but you know what, the tiniest bit it'll do will be somewhat helpful. So let's just do big attacks and see. We're not going to be able to get a double SA. I think I know how to modify it so I can make that work. But we'll definitely get a single target SA, and that will help out pretty good. Wish I could have eked out just a tiny bit more, and I think I know how I'm going to do that. But for now, we're just going to do a single SA with Yukina. She's going to be our biggest hitter here, because if we really look at this, we're going to look at wind buffs. And wind attack damage is only 40% with her. With her, wind attack damage is 90%. And Shock T is an AoE, so let's get this final SA out, see what it looks like, and see what we get. 1.5. I would really have loved to get more there, and I really feel like maybe putting Casino Seer on this team in a rare instance will work out. But we got 534, so my gambles did work. I'm going to continue modifying and working on this team. I'm going to save the skill flow, and continue basically working on this team until I get, you know, my happy score out here. In my group, let's see. My goal is always making rank 1. We'll see if that's possible here. I'm going to guess not. But if I can get rank 2, I think I can pull that one out. So I got a little bit to work on, guys. But give you some ideas. I'll be back on Sunday night when I get home, and we'll do a live stream where we talk about this and do all the Record Buster scores. For now, that's the video. Like, comment, share. See you guys when I return.